Why would you spend months training your own AI model when you can call one with a single API request? That's the power of AI APIs. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google have spent hundreds of millions of dollars training state-of-the-art models, and they let you use them for fractions of a cent per request. This has fundamentally changed software development. Features that would have been impossible 2 years ago are now a few lines of code away. But here's the challenge. The API landscape is confusing. Different providers, different models, different pricing, different capabilities. How do you choose? How do you even get started? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how AI APIs work, which provider to use for different tasks, and how to make your first API call. Let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is an AI API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's a way for your code to communicate with another service. You send a request, they send a response. An AI API specifically lets you send text to a large language model and get generated text back. You don't need to understand neural networks. You don't need expensive GPUs. You just need an API key and an internet connection. Here's how it works at a high level. Your application sends an HTTP request to the API endpoint. The request includes your API key for authentication, the model you want to use, and your prompt. The AI provider's servers receive your request, run inference on their models, and send back a response. This typically takes between 500 milliseconds and a few seconds depending on the model and output length. You receive a JSON response containing the generated text, token usage statistics, and metadata. Your application then uses that response however you need. This abstraction is powerful. The complexity of running trillion parameter models on massive GPU clusters is hidden behind a simple API. Let's look at the major AI API providers and what makes each one unique. OpenAI is the market leader. They created GPT-4, currently one of the most capable models available. Their API has the largest ecosystem with extensive documentation, libraries for every major language, and a huge community. If you're building something commercial, OpenAI is often the default choice. Anthropic is OpenAI's main competitor. They created Claude, which excels at several things: longer context, windows up to 200,000 tokens, better at following complex instructions, generally more reliable at code generation, and designed with safety as a core principle. Many developers prefer Claude for complex reasoning tasks. Google offers the Gemini family through their AI platform. Gemini's strength is multimodal capability. It can process text, images, audio, and video in a single model. If you're building applications that need to understand visual content, Gemini is worth considering. Amazon through AWS offers Bedrock, which gives you access to multiple providers' models including Claude, along with their own Titan models. Azure provides access to OpenAI's models with enterprise features. There are also open source options. Companies like Together AI, Anyscale, and Replicate let you run models like Llama, Mistral, and others through APIs. These are often cheaper and give you more flexibility, though capabilities may lag behind frontier models. The best provider depends on your specific needs. We'll cover how to choose later in this video. Before you can make API calls, you need to authenticate. Let's talk about how this works. API keys are the primary authentication method. When you sign up with the provider, you generate a secret key. This key is like a password for your account. Include it in every request and the provider knows it's you. Here's the critical security rule. Never expose your API key. Don't commit it to Git. Don't put it in front-end code. Don't share it in screenshots. If someone gets your key, they can rack up charges on your account. Store your API key in environment variables. In your code, read from the environment. Most providers' SDKs automatically look for specific environment variable names like OpenAI _API _key or Anthropic _API _key. Rate limits control how many requests you can make. Free tiers typically have strict limits, maybe 3 requests per minute. Paid accounts get higher limits. Hitting rate limits returns error codes, and your application should handle these gracefully with exponential backoff. Organizations let you manage team access. You can create separate keys for different team members or applications. This makes it easy to track usage and revoke access if needed. Billing is usage based. You pay for what you use, measured in tokens. Most providers require a credit card and charge monthly. Set spending limits to avoid surprises. One viral tweet using your exposed API. Let's look at how to actually make an API request. I'll use OpenAI as the example, but the concepts apply to all providers. The basic structure has three main parts: the endpoint URL, headers for authentication, and a JSON body with your request. For OpenAI's chat completions, you post to api.openai.com/v1/chat/completions. Your headers include authorization with bearer and your API key plus content type as application JSON. The request body contains the model name like GPT-4 or GPT-3.5-turbo, and a messages array. Messages represent the conversation. Each message has a role and content. The system role sets the AI's behavior. It's like giving instructions to an employee. User role is for user inputs. Assistant role is for the AI's previous responses in multi-turn conversations. Temperature controls randomness. 0 means deterministic. Higher values mean more creative but less predictable. For factual tasks, use low temperature. For creative tasks, go higher. Max tokens limits response length. This is for cost control and ensuring responses stay focused. The response comes back as JSON with an ID, the model used, a choices array containing the message, and usage statistics showing prompt tokens, completion tokens, and total. Using an SDK simplifies all this. With Python and the OpenAI library, it's just a few lines of code. The SDK handles authentication, retries, and response parsing automatically. AI API pricing can be confusing, so let's break it down clearly. Pricing is per token. Remember, a token is roughly 4 characters or 3/4 of a word. Input tokens, what you send, are usually cheaper than output tokens, what the model generates. Let's look at current pricing. GPT-4 Turbo costs about $10 per million input tokens and $30 per million output tokens. GPT 3.5 Turbo is much cheaper at 50 cents and $1.50 respectively. Claude 3 Opus, the most capable Claude model, costs $15 input and $75 output per million tokens. Claude 3 Sonnet is $3 and $15. Claude 3 Haiku is very cheap at 25 cents and $1.25. To put this in perspective, let's estimate a real use case. Imagine a customer support chatbot. Average conversation is 500 tokens in, 300 tokens out. Using GPT 3.5 Turbo, that's about 0.07 cents per conversation. 1,000 conversations cost 70 cents. But using GPT-4, that same conversation costs about 1.4 cents. 1,000 conversations is $14, 10 times more expensive. This is why model selection matters. Don't use GPT-4 for tasks that GPT 3.5 handles well. Don't use Opus when Haiku suffices. Other cost factors include context length. Longer context cost more even for the same input because attention computation scales quadratically. Streaming responses cost the same as regular responses. Set billing alerts. Monitor usage dashboards. Start with cheaper models and only upgrade when needed. A few dollars in testing can become thousands in production. How do you choose which provider and model to use? Here's a practical framework. Start with your requirements. What's the task? How important is quality versus cost versus speed? For simple tasks like classification, summarization, or basic quanda, use the cheapest option that works. GPT 3.5 Turbo or Claude 3 Haiku. These are fast and economical. For complex reasoning, code generation, or tasks requiring nuance, step up to GPT-4 Turbo or Claude 3 Sonnet. These handle subtle instructions better and make fewer mistakes. For the most demanding tasks, state-of-the-art capability, when cost isn't the primary concern, use GPT-4 or Claude 3 Opus. Consider context length needs. Processing a long document? Claude offers 200,000 tokens. GPT-4 Turbo offers 128,000. If you need less, you might use cheaper models with shorter contexts. Speed matters for real-time applications. Smaller models respond faster. Streaming helps perceived latency. If your use case is batch processing overnight, speed matters less. Reliability and uptime vary. OpenAI has had notable outages. Having a fallback provider can save you during incidents. Compliance requirements might dictate choices. Some industries need specific data handling. Azure's OpenAI service offers enterprise compliance features. My recommendation: start with GPT 3.5 Turbo or Claude Haiku. Test your use case. If quality is insufficient, try the next tier up. Don't start with the most expensive option unless you. Let's talk about best practices for integrating AI APIs into your applications. Use SDKs when available. Every major provider has official libraries for Python, JavaScript, and other languages. These handle authentication, retrieve, error handling, and response parsing. Implement proper error handling. Network requests fail, rate limits get hit, APIs have outages. Wrap your calls in try-catch blocks. Implement exponential backoff for retrieves. Have fallback behavior when the API is unavailable. Cache when possible. If you're making the same request repeatedly, cache the response. Semantic caching can match similar but not identical requests. This saves money and improves latency. Stream long responses. For chatbots and interactive applications, streaming shows tokens as they're generated. Users see faster perceived responses. Most SDKs support streaming with minimal code changes. Validate and sanitize inputs. User inputs can be malicious. Prompt injection attacks try to override your system instructions. Validate inputs before sending. Consider using separate calls for user input and system instructions. Log everything: track requests, responses, token usage, latency, and errors. This data is invaluable for debugging, optimization, and cost management. Set up monitoring and alerts. Track costs daily. Alert on unusual spikes. Monitor error rates. Catch problems early. Consider using an abstraction layer. Libraries like LangChain or Llama Index let you switch providers easily. If OpenAI has an outage, fail over to Anthropic without changing your application code. Let's recap what you learned about AI APIs. AI APIs let you access state-of-the-art models through simple HTTP requests. No ML expertise required, just an API key and a few lines of code. The major providers are OpenAI for ecosystem and capability, Anthropic for long context and reliability, and Google Gemini for multimodal applications. Each has strengths for different use cases. Authentication is via API keys. Keep them secret. Store in environment variables. Never commit to repositories. Pricing is per token. Input tokens are cheaper than output. Choose models appropriate for your task. Don't use GPT-4 when GPT 3.5 suffices. When integrating, use official SDKs. Handle errors gracefully. Cache when possible. Stream for better user experience. Monitor costs and usage. The best way to learn is to build. Sign up for free tiers, which most providers offer. Make your first API call. Build a simple project. The concepts become concrete once you see them working. In the next video, we'll dive into prompt engineering. You'll learn how to write prompts that consistently get good results, common patterns that work, and mistakes to avoid. Subscribe to First Commit if you haven't already. See you in the next one.